Hello, everybody. It's 5 o'clock. Yes, it is. 5 o'clock on a Thursday. That really rolled around fast today. At least for me, it did. So let me see if there's anybody else. Let me wait for things to pop up. It always takes a minute, remember? I don't know if it takes you guys as long to log in as it does for me, but it does for me. Teresa, you're here. Woo! It's been a whirlwind of a day, of a week, of a month. It's been crazy. So if you're here, you know that you have to say something. And remember back there, remember that sign? Boo. All you have to say is boo. If nothing more, you can say hi, you can say whatever you'd like. It really doesn't matter. Just as long as you say something, then I know you're here. Otherwise, it just tells me a bunch of people are watching, which I can see they are. But I don't know who you are unless you say something. Hi, Pat and Susan. And of course, Teresa is there. And Melissa, boo, boo to you too. I should look up and see what that actually stands for. It's got to stand for something, right? It's not just B-O-O. It's got to stand for something. I'm going to Google that and I'll find out. Hello, Heidi. Melissa Barbu, that's really good. That's really good. And Donna is here. I am so glad. Hi, Joyce. Well, I've been watching the Facebook a lot this last couple of days because I've been in and off of it and doing things. So I've been there and I've been watching you. I have been looking at your pages. I've been looking at your projects. I've been watching what you're doing. And I know we are really busy. This is the 12th of December. That means Christmas is less than 2 weeks away. I am not ready. I'm going to go shopping next week, though. Next week I'm going to go. So Heidi says, I'm making gingerbread pillows as a gift. That is great. Deborah from Florida says hi. Yep, hi. Please say hi. Say something. Say boo. Doesn't matter. You just got to make your presence known or else nobody knows you're here. That's okay. It has been so crazy for me because I've been traveling a lot, on the road. I think I logged over 12 airline flights, over 12, if you count when you have to change planes, and I don't count that. So there's been 12 flights that I've made in the last couple of months. I've been really busy. And I'm so glad you guys have stuck with me through it all because you haven't left me. You're still here. I appreciate that so much because when I'm traveling, I really can't come on. So I've missed quite a few Project on the 10s. I've missed quite a few buddy chats. And I tried to make them up. And next week we will have a buddy chat on Thursday the 19th. And we will have a Project on the 10s on the 20th the next day. And then there'll be nothing for 2 weeks. Nothing for 2 weeks because that is Christmas and New Year's. We're going to skip those 2 weeks. And then we will start back up in January. It will be the 9th and 10th. That's when we'll start back up again. So you can go back and watch anything you want. I will still post a daily tip every single day. They will still be there for you. And I will probably come on and on here and there. And I want you to too. If you got something you want to post your Christmas tree. I know I asked everybody to post one last week. I didn't see any. I didn't even do mine. So, oh well. And Heidi says, yeah, we knew you'd been busy. I'll tell you, with this new machine coming out, it has been wonderful because I love the new machine. It's easy for me to talk it up. It's easy for me to tell you about it. It's easy for me to teach it. And I love it. And that's what I've been talking about is the applaud. And I want you to notice that I said the name correctly that time. And I know oftentimes, there's so many different names. Actually, you got applaud, acclaim, and accolade. That's too close. We're going to talk about that today. But the applaud is the machine I've been going out and doing events with the Triumph. And we have sold a lot of machines because when people sit down, they love it. They totally love it. You can't live without it. It's one of those machines. Just is a specialty machine, but yet it's not. Because it does so much more than a specialty machine would do. A specialty machine does one thing. This does not. This has all the cover stitches, all the chain stitches, Plus, you've got millions of ways to use that decorative top cover stitch because you got all the different threads you can throw in there. But we're not going to talk about the applaud today. Briefly, we're going to talk. Teresa says, yeah, we just do the best we can, right? That's exactly right. And in fact, I ran up to my mom's today. She lives about 25 miles north of me. And she's not doing very well. She's having a little tough time. She's 96. And my sister's there with her right now. And it's a little bit of a struggle for her. So I did go up. And I just barely rolled in here at 10 to 5. And I thought, oh, I'm not ready. Can I remember all the things I've got to do? I've got to touch that button and turn this one on. There are a lot of buttons you have to push before I can go live. So I'm a little crazy. So if I seem a little, I'll calm down. It's okay. My girls, Susan, are so good. And they're not molting anymore. Thank you for asking. Their feathers have all come in nice and thick, and that's good because it's getting very cold. And I read somewhere that their body temperature is about 110. So they're much warmer with all that down and feathers on. They're very warm little girls. But I still worry about them. They don't like to come out of the coop that much right now. They'll come out if I put some food out there for them, and they like that. But they like to stay huddled, and they go to bed early. Like they're in bed right now, and it's 5 o'clock here. They're in bed already, and they don't get up too early. They kind of live by the sun. What the sun does is what they do. So their days are shorter. I have not gotten an egg in a month, and that's okay. Their bodies are getting stronger, and they're getting ready to lay. I mean, bunches and bunches of eggs come. I'll probably start getting some, I'm thinking at least by March. It might be a long winter without eggs, and that's okay. I can buy eggs. They're beautiful. Thank you so much for asking, Susan. Heidi said that she spent the day with her dad, who turns 90 tomorrow. Well, that's nice. I never thought I would even be this old. I don't know what I thought. If I thought that at 40 life stops, I don't know. Because here I am. I'm still here. I'm still plugging away. And I feel like I'm 40 or 30. I feel that way. And my brain tells me well, you guys all know how that is. In fact, I was thinking of something today. Oh, talk about Christmas trees. I think we've talked about this before. Do you remember, if you are anywhere near my age, if you remember where they had aluminum Christmas trees? That was the rage in the 60s, aluminum Christmas trees. Everybody had to have an aluminum tree. And we had it for a few years. And one year we had lights at the bottom that shine up on it and put different colors so your tree would change from red to yellow to green to blue to whatever you wanted it to be. And that was kind of a unique thing to have lived through. Did you guys have that? Pat, you did, right? Well, we don't have them anymore. You still have a 4-foot one, Heidi? And Joyce said they had one. Heidi, did you ever put yours up? The color wheels, Susan, that is so true. They had the color wheels, and you had to put it just right so when it shined out your window that they would see all those colors, and you didn't need lights on them because they just shined by themselves, right? Those aluminum trees. I'll bet they still have them on eBay or even on Amazon. I might have to look. I might have to get me a 4-foot tree. Donna said my mom had to be in the 60s, and the rotating 4-color light, yes, that's what it was. Yep, that's what it was. That aluminum tree. Oh, I haven't seen it in a long time. I want to see yours, Heidi. Will you take a picture? Put it up here. Let us see it. It's not your main tree. Well, I kind of figured that because a 4-foot tree probably wouldn't suit you with all that you do. But I'll bet, could you take a picture of your beautiful aluminum tree for us, Heidi? And just put it on here. I would love to see it. Yep, I got that, Donna. Your mom had one in the 60s. So, Donna, you must not have been around in the 60s. I was very happy in the 60s. I still some days live in the 60s. My music I play is in the 60s. And I still think a lot 60-wise. And maybe that's why I still feel like I'm 20, 10. Yeah, I was pretty young. Oh, Heidi said she's going to post a picture. I can't wait. I can't wait. And if you guys will post pictures of your trees, I would love to see your trees. We were in Kentucky last week. And thank you all you ladies if you're here today. I know that we invited you to come. And I'd love it if you'd pipe in and say, I'm here. But they were such nice ladies. I tell you, that was with Oma and her group. We had such a good time. And what really, really nice ladies. In fact, when I left there, when I left Kentucky, I thought, I had such a good feeling of peace about me. Those ladies were just so easy and fun to be around, and they loved the machines. But they were just so sweet and very polite. I got called Sugar and Sweetie more than I've been called in years, and I loved it. I just really loved it. Call me Sugar anytime you want to. And then we left Kentucky and we went into Nashville and saw lots and lots of things. Loved it. We saw a lot of things this last week. In fact, it's been so fun to travel and see you guys in your environment, in your places of business and the things that you do. I've really, really enjoyed it. So thank you for inviting me into your homes today. Because I'm here in my home, you're there in your home, and I love it. All right, so I want to talk. Yeah, Donna, I was a little kid too, but I do remember that aluminum tree. I do remember it. I don't know how long we kept it, but I do remember it. All right, I want to talk today because there's been a lot of questions, and especially as I've traveled, I get this question a lot. They don't understand sergers and overlockers and cover hems. They don't understand what the difference is and why you would need one over the other or whatever you're going to do with them. Hi, Mindy. Glad you made it. So we're going to talk about that today because the serger, in my interpretation, is a family. It's a group of machines. And if you're looking for a serger, like if you went into babylock.com and you typed in serger, you would get all of the different overlock, cover, and chain, whatever you want to, they're all going to be there. But I want to talk about the differences between the machines. So the Victory is really the first machine in the lineup that I like to use, and this one that I have. It's air threading. It has no tension dials, and those are the two things that are really big in my book, not having the tension dials and not having to thread it, because those are the two headaches of sergers. So often people will say, well, I can't do that. I can't do a serger, or they're scary. They're really not scary, yet they're heavier. There's more metal involved than you'll find on a sewing and an embroidery machine. And so you got this family of sergers. When you go into the sewing and embroidery, you only have two choices, sewing or embroidery, right? Or you have the combo machines. The same thing happens in the serger world. So we have sergers, and a lot of times people, when they say a serger, they're referring to the overlock machines, when in reality, a serger is the family, okay? But we have overlock machines and we have cover hem machines, and then we have them together, just like your sewing and embroidery. Pat, you love your Victory. I love my Victory too. And Nancy is here from Pennsylvania. Welcome, welcome. All right, so the Victory is the first machine in the lineup that does not have tension dials, and you do not want tension dials. Not that they're a real problem, because even in the Celebrate, they will give you instructions. But how nice it is just to go to a stitch selector. In fact, let's go over there right now. So this is my Triumph. Let me move this camera out a little bit. And if all I have to do is move this up and down to get my stitch selection, why wouldn't I want to do that? Because not only is a perfect stitch, and it has a thread delivery system up in here that will, when you put it on here or wherever you've got it, it will be able to tell how thick your thread is, how thick your fabric is. It's going to give you a perfect stitch. So why wouldn't I want that? I don't know. To me, that is really, really important. So I've got the Victory, who has no tension dials and no threading. It is just an overlock machine. So it will do the overlock, the flat lock, the blanket. It will not do a wave stitch. That comes in a little later. but it will do a rolled hem and a rolled edge. It does all of those stitches. It does it beautifully. And there's also a difference that you'll find in sergers. And so compare while you're shopping, if you don't have one already, when the needle goes up and down or the needle is angled. When it goes up and down, you're going to get a truer stitch. It's going to be prettier and it's going to be easier to maintain. It will break down less often. You won't have broken needles as often. If it goes up and down, straight up and down, so look at your serger, does it go straight up and down or does it go at an angle? You don't want that needle to come in at an angle. The straight up and down just gives you a better stitch. Just simply, it's a better stitch. So you got the Victory, it's an overlock machine. Then you move up to the Acclaim. The Acclaim is like the Victory, has all the overlock stitches, but it has a wave stitch, which is what we've talked about before, this stitch right here. Now, the thing about overlockers is that they finish the edge of the fabric. That's their primary job. So let me go down here, pull something over here. So this right here, ooh, that's really bright. Let me see if I can tone that down a little bit. Okay, so this right here, this is an overlock stitch on the edge of your fabric. So that's really what they're intended to do. And this cute little skirt was made on the Victory. And yes, I used the ruffling foot where I gathered the fabric underneath and put the flat fabric on top. And that is considered an overlock machine. It just does the edge. When you get into the Acclaim, you've got the wave stitch. Now the wave stitch is an edge of the fabric stitch also. I've got it right here. This is an edge stitch right there. But with the baby lock, you can also make it a flat lock. So this is a flat lock wave, and that's possible with the baby lock stitch. Let me see if I've got, heck, I tried to bring a lot of samples in here, and I guess I didn't bring that one. But there, you can also do a flat lock, which is not an edge stitch, it's on the inside. But that's the only stitches you could do on the inside. There's the flat lock, wave stitch, and the flat lock. So the flat lock is found in the Victory. The Acclaim bumps you up and gives you the wave stitch. I love this stitch. It will also allow you to put piping in. There's some piping right there. And there's some piping right there. And that will allow you to do a piping with the right foot because that is on the edge of the fabric. I create it by stitching on the edge of the fabric. The rest of this I'll get into in a minute, but after the Acclaim, let me move you up to the Euphoria, for instance. Now the Euphoria has all of the cover stitches. Cover hems and the chain stitch. It has those stitches. It does not have any, it's just a cover hem stitch. That's it. It will do all of them, all of the cover hems and all of the chain stitch, but it will not do the overlock stitches. So there's where you get two different machines. So if you had an Acclaim and a Euphoria, you would have all of the overlock stitches you could do, and you would have all of the cover stitches you could do. You'd have everything, okay? If you moved into the Accolade has the same smaller body type as perhaps the Victory, has a small body type, and it will do cover stitch and overlock. It does all of those stitches plus the wave stitch. But the big difference when you go from the Accolade up to the Triumph, and let's go over there now, is the difference is going to be this wide throat right here. And that's one of the things that really annoyed me with serging, was how skinny that area was there right there. I felt claustrophobic. Right, yeah, Heidi, yours would be a hybrid. Yours would be the Victory with the wave stitch. Yep. And Patricia, that pillow is so cute. I need to try a flat lock wave in my Triumph. Yes, you do, Patricia. It is beautiful. Okay, where was I? Okay, I love this wide throat. It also has the foot lift in the front. I hated reaching behind and having to lift my foot up because I would usually forget. I'd either leave it up and have a totally ugly stitch, or I would forget to put it up at all. And so I like to have this foot up, foot down in the front. So those are the really big things that are difference between the Accolade and the Triumph. But I want to show you one more thing that we've got going on here before I show you some samples. I'm going to take the foot off. I just pop that thing off, slide him out. All right, I want you to look down in there. Let me move the doors out of the way just a little bit. And I'm going to take you down here where you're a little closer. All right, you can see that there are two sets of feed dogs. This feed dog back here is the rear feed dog, and this one in front. You can see that they're two separate feed dogs. When I change my differential feed, it's going to adjust the front feed dog, not the back one. That back one will always stay steady. But the front one, when depending on where I put my differential feed, which is why if you bump it, you're going to get an ugly stitch unless that's what you're trying to do. This front one, when I have it up, will take a bigger bite and go faster. So you can guess that at that point it's going to ruffle. If I put it down, it's going to take a smaller bite and it's going to go slower. And that will allow the fabric to push out. So you can even look on your little diagram over here. Right here, this has the arrows going in. That means it's going to gather the fabric. And if you go down here, the arrows are pointing out. It's going to stretch that fabric. And the reason why you have a differential feed at all is because in the factory, when they were working with clothing and sewing on knits, you know how if you sew on knit, it is a little crazy. You never know if you're going to get a gather or if you're going to get a stretch. You just don't even know. So you're going to test it. But this little guy over here is what helps you adjust that so you always have a perfect stitch no matter what. Okay, let's go over to some samples and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So this little skirt right here, this was done on the Victory with the ruffling foot. So I was able to do that all in one stitch. I love that. The piping was made with the Victory, or it can be made with the Triumph. This right here was my flat lock wave. Any machine that has a flat lock and a wave stitch, you can do this on. And then I'm going to come to this. This is the Serger crochet, and you've probably seen the little demo I've done on it on the Facebook this last couple of weeks. This is simply done with a 4-thread overlock. If you have a baby lock, and it has to be baby lock, I'm sorry to tell you that, a baby lock 4-thread overlock, you can do this Serger crochet. And the reason why I tell you it has to be a baby lock is because I have had people in my classes with other machines, and they can't do this because this is where you're sewing into thread, not fabric. Other machines, other brands have actually chewed the thread up, just chewed it. It doesn't make a pretty stitch. So that's what that's all about. All right, and I'm going to come over to here. Here I can put this in with my Victory. This is a piping. I can not only make the piping, but I can install it with my same foot. That's going to be done with accordion and piping foot. There I've got my flat lock wave. Right here I have pin tucks. This is done on an 8-thread sergers. You have to have the cover stitch and you have to have the pin tuck foot because it actually has a cord guide so I can stitch on both sides with 2 needles and put the cord in between. Joyce wants to know why does the Triumph have 8 threads? Because it will do, let me go back over there. Wrong button. All right, so you can't see right here very well. Maybe you can. You can see right here I'm going to move this guy out of the way again. Right here I've got 1, 2, 3 needles right there in front, and I have 2 needles back here. So these are the cover and chain needles. These are the overlock needles. So I have a place there to put 5 needles. And with 5 needles and 2 loopers and a cover looper, that means that I need 8 places for my thread. So not always am I going to be sewing with 8 threads, but it gives me the opportunity if I wanted to do a safety stitch. That means I'm going to be doing cover and chain and the overlock stitch. It's going to finish the edge of the fabric plus put some more thread in there. So that is why it has 8 threads. So anytime you have a machine with 8 threads like the Accolade, I think before the Accolade, I almost had the name on the tip of my tongue, but you got the Ovation. I'll come up with them in a minute. But you got 8 threads. You got a great possibility of doing the cover and the chain and the overlock stitches. All right, let's go back down here. So this was also done with the wave stitch all around the outside. So that's using the wave stitch in 2 different ways. You've got it right here in the flat lock wave, and then you finish the edge with it right there. And this cute little bag right here, I've used the flat lock wave right there. I put piping in that you can do with your Victory if you want. I have done more piping there. I've done ruching. Oh, I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. And then I have used my cover stitch machine, and I have stitched binding on this fabric right here. So that gives me a 2-tone effect on my strap. Then back here, I installed the zipper with my Triumph, which is really fun to do. I like to do that. All right, I'm going to pull this bag apart just a little bit so you can see the inside. On the inside of this bag, you will see, because I have done it in dark thread. Isn't that great? You'll be able to see it really well. So this is where I'm talking about an edge stitch. That's what this is right here. I have sewn that together all the way around with an edge stitch. You can also put a zipper in with your overlock machine. This time I did it with my cover and chain, and I made this belt loop, which is my strap, with my cover stitch. And here I've used the cover stitch as a decorative stitch. And that brings me to talk a little bit about the applaud. The applaud has that beautiful, and I don't have any applaud samples up here. Oh, I do. It has that beautiful decorative top cover stitch. This I was able to watch where I was sewing. That's why it kind of looks almost perfect, right? This one right here, I was sewing my cover stitch upside down. So I had to have the right side facing down. So I was just sewing in the dark. But that's the back side of the cover stitch. That is the front side of the cover stitch. And then I did my gathering here. So that was also, and this right here I did pin tucks, or excuse me, prairie points with the edge of my cover stitch. No, the edge of my overlock as a decoration. I kind of like that one. All right, let's go to this one. This right here, this is a pillow. Doesn't have a pillow insert. There I've used my rolled hem right there, and I have gathered it in one fell swoop, and I love to do that. So this one can be done on the Victory or just an overlock machine, because you've got your rolled hem, and you've got your gathers, and you've got your straight stitching down there. This one right here, I do a lot of placemats because it's like a mini quilt. If you need to show a technique, it's easier to show it. All right, right here I have installed the ribbon with my cover stitch, which is so cool because I insert this in my foot. Let me show you where I can do that. There's a little space right there. I can insert that in my foot. It will stitch over the top of my ribbon, and it will do that perfect stitch down. It will help guide it in there so I don't have to do anything. So that ribbon was put down with the cover stitch machine. There I have pin tucking right there. And then I have, I sewed all of these together with my serger. I've got piping right there, more piping there. And this I think was done on my sewing machine. So this was a multi-machine project. Once again, I've got my gathers, I've got the back side of my chain cover stitch, and this is very similar to the last one. So let me take you back over here. I want to show you what I love to do. When I talked about, boy, I'm jumping all over the place today, but I want you to see what I can do. I've got, right now it's in a 3-thread overlock, but I'm going to test it. I always test my stitch. I want that a little wider. By the way, when I move let me show you this. I love to talk sergers, so once you got me talking sergers, I am lost. I am gone. I can do it. All right, so right here I've got my blade, and back here you can see the stitch fingers. On your machine, you'll be able to see this much easier on the stitch fingers, but when I make the width, remember this wee widow knob? You see that blade moving back and forth? That tells me exactly how wide my stitch is going to be. That's how easy that is to know. So right here, it also works in tandem with my stitch finger. So it's moving the stitch finger at the same time. And I want that to be a wide stitch, so I made it a little wider than what it was. But now, remember those feed dogs I told you about? I'm going to move my differential feed up to 2, up on the top part, right up here. And I'm going to move my length to a 4. And now I've got some muslin here. Let's see what it does. Come on, step on the gas. And there you go. I have gathered that piece of fabric. I think that is so fun to do. I love to gather on my serger. It's solid, it's a great stitch, and it gathers it right up. Now if I want to, I can gather this more by, I'm just going to pull those threads out there right there. The long ones are going to be the loopers. The short ones are the needles, and I can actually take those and pull it just like you would on a sewing machine, and pull it so it's more gathered. All right. That knob confuses me a little, Heidi said, because it doesn't click on each number. Are you talking about the wee widow knob? It doesn't click. No, it doesn't click. So you have to kind of watch where you put it. No, I didn't even know that. Didn't even know it didn't click. I didn't notice that. Do you have any questions at all? I'm trying to think of all the questions I've gotten the last couple of weeks. That kind of covers what I've been asked about. I think the biggest thing was people didn't understand the difference in the sergers. And there's a big difference. So you got to know what you want, and you can get it. Now, on the cover hem, it also has the chain stitch. So the width, there's no width on the cover hem. There's that, you can change that, but it's not going to change anything at all. Because on the cover stitch and on the applaud, the only way you change the width is by how many needles you have in. So if you got 1 needle in, you got 1 stitch. That's just like a sewing machine. If you got 2 needles in, depending on if you have them on the 2 outside or close together, you'd have a narrow cover stitch or a wide cover stitch. So that's the difference in what the width does on the cover stitch. Are there any questions? Are you all going to go buy your serger today? I tell you, I have never regretted a day that I didn't have this, that I had the serger, but I regretted many days that I did not have a serger. Once you use it, once you learn to love it and understand it, it will do almost everything your sewing machine will do. It is amazing. It'll do things your sewing machine cannot do. You cannot get a perfect rolled hem on your sewing machine. You cannot do create piping that is already trimmed off on your sewing machine, because you make it on your sewing machine, you still can do it, but then you have to go trim it. I never get that trimmed right. Never. Linda said she loves her sergers. That means she's got more than one. I have 3, and I love every one of them. But I really use my Triumph and my Applaud the most. And I really use them for everything. They are amazing. If you have any questions as you're watching this later, please chime in, ask your questions. I will definitely keep an eye on the thread and try to answer all your questions. You have something that comes up, or maybe you'll think of something later. Please ask me, because I am here and I love my serger. Love it to pieces. I do. I do. I really do. If you have questions, like I've had people say, well, I don't know which one to buy. And so that's why they wanted to understand the difference between the Victory and the Triumph. There's a lot of difference in between. So it really depends on what you want out of your serger and what stitches you want to do. Because the Victory is just that basic, finish your edges, create clothing, whatever you want to do. But if you want to take a step up and get the wave stitch and the cover hem stitches, if you're doing a cover hem like on the bottom of your t-shirt, that's a cover hem. Or you can do it on the bottom of your drapes or the bottom of your skirt. You can do all those things with the cover and the chain. Those are really fun to use, to explore. You can bind things with them. You can create belt loops, which are not just belt loops. We've talked about that before. It is also straps or anything you want to do with it. You can weave them together. That's really fun to do. We should do that one day. If you cannot, oh, Deborah, you cannot figure out the needle threader on your Victory. Okay, I can tell you. Just a sec. Thank you, Heidi. I love that. I love the sergers. Okay, on the Victory, on the dial, I believe the Victory has a green line. You have to line up those green lines to get your needle threader to work. Also, if you're not using the needles that your serger suggests that you use, because you can use sewing machine needles in your serger if you want to, in the overlock stitches. In the cover and chain, you really need to have the regular preferred needles for the serger, that they stay inside. In fact, let's go there. It tells you right here what needle to use. Now on the Victory, I believe on all the other machines, you have to have it down in threading position with the pipes locked in to thread the needles. But on the Victory, I believe, I don't have it in front of me, I believe there's a green line on your hand wheel, and you have to match up the green line there. When you've matched those up, then you can thread your needles. All right? I hope I haven't gotten the wrong machine in my head wrong. I don't have it here in front of me. So I hope that I've answered that question. And if that's not it, let me know, because I can still help you. I can definitely do that. All right. I don't think I have any more comments, any more suggestions, or any more things I want to throw out there. If you have questions later on, please let me know. All right, because I can help you. All right? And Deborah, if you can't thread your needles, email me. Email me at barb@sewwithbarb.com. We can either do a conference call or we can do something, because I want you to be able to thread those needles. I want you to love your machine. That's all I care about. Because if you don't love it, you're not going to use it. And you spend all that money on it, I want you to love it and I want you to use it. That's important. All right. Post your pictures of your trees. Email me if you have questions, or even put it on Facebook. I can help you. barb@sewwithbarb.com. I'm always there, and I'll be watching for you. Put your trees up online. And Heidi, I can't wait to see your aluminum tree. I'll be a little jealous. It'll take me back to my umpteen years. All right. Thank you so much for watching today, and thank you for being there for me, and thank you for waiting while I've been traveling. And we will be here next week, but not 2 weeks after that. Not for Christmas and not for New Year's. All right? Okay. I'll see you then. Bye-bye, everybody. Oh, wait a minute. Stop. Deborah said, yes, it has the green line. All right, if it's got the green line, you got to line those green lines up. If you still can't thread it, email me. Let's talk. Okay? We'll get it figured out. I'll help you. Don't be frustrated. I'll help you. Okay? Bye-bye.